Changes could soon be coming to the controversial STAAR test.
Today, a special commission set up by the governor and lawmakers plans to recommend breaking up the pencil and paper test at the end of the year into smaller computerized assessments throughout the year.
But KXAN political reporter Phil Prazen says this will not put out the passions surrounding the STAAR.
It's a measure of our income and our education level and not a measure of what students are doing.
Hillary Prochnow doesn't make her kids take the STAAR test. To her, you can't measure what and if kids are learning by a multiple choice test, even if it's on a computer. She says breaking it up into small chunks is a step in the right direction, but creates overlap.
That's great, but that's what teachers do. We don't need to pay Pearson a $500 million contract. That's what teachers are supposed to do.
The Commission on Next Generation Assessment and Accountability approved 9 recommendations for lawmakers to make real next year. Small computerized assessments was one.
The kids who fail the test are passed on anyway. So where is the draconian outcome in all of this so-called accountability?
But Bill Hammond from the Texas Association of Business says there's already a skills gap with around 9,000 IT jobs in the Austin area unfilled. He says business owners need to know Texas students are learning and end-of-year tests are the way to do it.
Superintendents have led the charge against accountability because it's showing what's actually happening in Texas. And a few years ago, they told Mom that this testing regime is going to cause Johnny not to go to UT. And Mom got upset, and Mom came down against testing.
And remember, while this commission was picked by our state leaders, they can recommend whatever they want. It's up to the majority of lawmakers and the governor to make any change to your child's test. And tune in to KXAN News at 6 to hear someone who thinks this is just trading one negative for another. Phil Prazen, KXAN News.
And we reached out to the head of one of the state's largest teachers unions to get some perspective on how educators feel about the proposal.
We know we need to fix a broken testing system. We are concerned that the Next Generation Commission isn't willing to go far enough. And we believe that just tinkering around the edges of testing, but keeping in place the same test and punish regime that we have right now is not the way to go.
The STAAR test can put a lot of pressure on students. They start taking it in the 3rd grade, and the test can determine whether they move on to the next grade. Students have to take 2 or more tests each year until they complete 8th grade. In high school, the test stakes get higher. Students have to pass 5 STAAR tests in order to graduate. But complaints from parents led state lawmakers to create a way for students to graduate without passing the STAAR. The law lets school districts create committees which decide if a student who does not pass the exam can get his or her diploma. The law affects around 28,000 high school seniors.